An ordinary man, a lottery system, and millions of dollars. This story begins in a small American town where people wake up, go to work, come home, and dream that maybe one day they'll get rich. But Jerry Selfridge didn't dream. He found a crack in the system, and through that crack, he pulled out millions. This isn't a movie, this is real. Jerry Selfridge was a retired mathematician, spent his whole life working at Kellogg's. Numbers were his obsession. Finding patterns was in his nature. Since childhood, he saw solutions where everyone else saw problems. Marge, his wife, an ordinary middle-class American woman, worked her entire life at a small store. Their life was simple, very simple. No luxury, no glamour. After retirement, they were wondering how they'd spend the rest of their days. And that's when Jerry saw the brochure. 2003, Michigan State launched a new lottery game called Windfall, a completely ordinary lottery game. Pick 6 numbers between 1 and 40. Match them, you win. Don't match, you lose. But when Jerry read the rules, his eyes locked onto one line. Roll down. One word, one rule. It changed everything. Normally in lotteries, the jackpot keeps growing until someone wins. But Windfall had a special rule. If the jackpot exceeded $5 million and nobody won, that money would roll down to the lower tiers, meaning people who matched 3, 4, 5 numbers would get much more money. Jerry sat down at his dining table, a pen, a piece of paper, and started calculating. He worked out every possibility, every combination, every odd, and within 3 minutes, he knew he'd won. Mathematically, when roll-down happened, the value of each ticket increased. Normally, a ticket had an expected value of 50 cents, but during roll-down, that value became $1.50. You invest $1, you get back $1.50. This wasn't gambling anymore. This was mathematics. Jerry told his wife, "Marge, I know this sounds crazy, but trust me, this will work." Marge stared at him. 50 years of marriage, she knew when Jerry said something, he'd thought it through. "How much do we need?" Marge asked. $3,600. Their savings, their retirement fund. One risk, everything gone. But Marge agreed. Jerry went to the convenience store, bought $3,600 worth of tickets. The clerk thought the man had lost his mind, but money is money. He printed the tickets. 3 days later, the results came in. Jerry won. $6,300. Double profit. Marge couldn't believe it. Jerry smiled, calmly, like he knew it would happen. And that's how an empire began. Next time roll-down happened, Jerry bought more tickets, then more and more. But there was a problem. You can't buy that many tickets alone. You'd have to stand at a store for hours, print thousands of tickets. This wasn't a one-man job. So Jerry did something else. He built a group, friends, family, people he trusted, people who could invest money. They formed a company, called it GS Investment Strategies, and they started buying tickets on an industrial scale. Every time roll-down happened, they'd buy hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of tickets. In that small town, their group became the biggest lottery player. But here's what you need to understand. Jerry didn't break any laws, didn't break any rules. He just used his brain, his mathematical skills. The system was designed in a way that if someone was smart enough, they could win. And Jerry was smart enough. But then Michigan had a problem. The state government shut down Windfall. They realized the game had a flaw, and some people were exploiting that flaw. Jerry was disappointed, but he didn't give up. He did his research, found out Massachusetts had a similar game called Cash Windfall. Same rules, same roll-down system. Jerry and Marge packed their bags, headed to Massachusetts. And there, they started again, fresh, bigger scale. In Massachusetts, their operation became even more organized. They rented a warehouse, sat there printing millions of tickets like a small factory. Tickets printing, sorting, checking. Every roll down, they'd invest about $600,000 and get back about $900,000. $300,000 profit every single time. And over 9 years, they won $26 million. But they weren't alone. In Massachusetts, there was another group, some students from MIT. They'd figured out the system too, playing the same game. 2 groups, same goal, same method, but no conflict because there was enough money for everyone. Jerry and Marge's life changed. They bought new cars, a new house, set up college funds for their grandchildren, donated to churches, schools, the community. But their lifestyle stayed the same, simple, frugal. Because Jerry didn't do this for money, he did it for the challenge, to prove he could. But nothing stays hidden forever. In 2011, the Boston Globe published an investigation. They exposed the whole thing, how 2 groups were winning millions, how there was a flaw in the system, how the state lottery authority knew but did nothing, because technically no laws were broken. Jerry didn't commit fraud, they didn't steal, they just understood how the system worked and used that knowledge to win. But public pressure started building, media started asking questions. Is this fair? Do ordinary people who play the lottery even have a chance? Or are these groups taking all the money? And eventually, Massachusetts shut down Cash Windfall. Jerry and Marge's story ended, but they kept their winnings. When you hear this story, what do you think? Is Jerry a thief, or is he a genius? Was the system wrong, or was Jerry just smart? There's a big question here, a moral question. When there's a flaw in a system and you find that flaw, is it right to exploit it? Legally, yes, Jerry committed no crime, but morally? Lotteries were created for ordinary people who'd spend $2 on a ticket and dream of getting rich. But Jerry turned that dream into math. He built a business model. And that's where the question lies. Is this still a lottery, or did it become a calculated investment? But there's another side. The state lottery authority knew about this flaw. They knew what Jerry was doing. They knew what the MIT group was doing, but they did nothing. Why? Because the state makes money from the lottery. A portion of every ticket sold goes to the government for education, infrastructure. The more tickets Jerry bought, the more money the state made. So they stayed quiet until the media exposed it. That's the most terrifying part of any system. The people running it often know there are flaws, but as long as those flaws benefit them, they don't fix them. And then the smart ones, the educated ones, the ones who understand math, they slip through those cracks. While ordinary people who buy tickets on luck alone, they keep losing. Jerry Selfridge and Marge Selfridge are still alive today. They returned to their small town, Evart, Michigan. Same house, same life. But their story became a legend. How an ordinary person, using just their mind, beat the system. And that's the real lesson. Systems are never perfect. Every system has cracks. Every rule has loopholes. The question is, can you find them? But remember this too. Just finding the crack isn't enough. You need the courage to exploit it, the willingness to take risks. Jerry took that risk. In his first bet, he put in all his savings. If he'd lost, his retirement would have ended. But he believed in his calculations, in his math. And that belief made him win. Now, let me ask another question. Did Jerry's actions hurt others? Directly, no. Jerry didn't steal from anyone. He didn't force money out of anyone's pocket. He just participated in a game and won by following the rules. But indirectly? When Jerry's group bought millions of tickets, ordinary people's chances of winning decreased because Jerry was covering almost every combination. Small wins that might have gone to regular people were going into Jerry's pocket. So, was this right? The answer isn't simple, because morality is never black and white. Jerry's story teaches us something else: the power of knowledge. Jerry was a mathematician. He knew how to calculate probability, how to understand odds, and that knowledge made him powerful. In today's world, where everything runs on data, on systems, whoever understands the system wins. There are many stories about lottery wins, some won by pure luck, some by strategy. But Jerry's story is different, because Jerry won repeatedly for 9 years. This wasn't luck anymore. This became proof that math, patience, and strategy combined, they can beat any system. But there's a warning here too. Jerry succeeded because he knew what he was doing. He was an expert. But many people will hear this story and think, I can do that too. And they'll jump into lotteries, gambling, stock markets, unprepared. And they'll lose everything. Jerry won because he was prepared. He researched, calculated, managed risk. One wrong move, one wrong calculation, and it's over. So take inspiration from this story, but don't blindly follow it. Now, think from the state lottery's perspective. Why did they design a game with a flaw? Actually, they didn't think anyone would be this smart. They thought roll down would be a feature that attracted people, more ticket sales, but they didn't calculate that someone could exploit this feature. This is a classic example. The people who design systems don't always think of every possibility. They think about average users, but not the outliers, the exceptional ones. And through that gap, people like Jerry walk in. After this whole incident, many American states redesigned their lottery systems. They made sure these kinds of flaws wouldn't exist. They understood that if ordinary people lose faith, the entire lottery system collapses. Because lotteries survive on belief, the belief that maybe I'll win too. If that belief disappears, nobody plays. And that's the foundation of any system: trust. People trust the system is fair. If that trust breaks, the system falls apart. Jerry's story became a movie, Jerry and Marge Go Large, starring Bryan Cranston and Annette Bening. A light, fun movie, but the real story runs much deeper. The real story says how an ordinary person can do extraordinary things, how knowledge is power, how courage and strategy together can overcome any obstacle. But at the same time, this story warns us, systems aren't always fair. Those in power often know there are problems, but as long as those problems don't hurt them, they stay silent. And then the responsibility falls on us, on ordinary people. We need to understand how systems work, learn, question. Jerry questioned, why this rule? Why this system? And searching for those answers, he found a gold mine. Today's world is filled with thousands of systems: banking systems, tax systems, insurance systems. Each system has rules, and every rule has gaps. Those who can find those gaps move forward. Those who can't stay behind. Is this fair? No, but this is reality. And to survive in this reality, you have to learn, know, stay prepared. Jerry Selfridge is now past 80. His life passed peacefully. He didn't cheat anyone, didn't hurt anyone, just used his intellect, and that made him a living legend. But before I finish, one thing. Jerry's story is inspiring, but lotteries are never the solution. Most people lose money in lotteries. Jerry won because he was an exception. He was an expert. For ordinary people, lotteries are a tax on hope. So if you want to achieve something in life, win something, don't sit around hoping for luck. Learn, work hard, build strategy. Jerry didn't win on luck, he won on intellect. And intellect, anyone can build that. This story ends here, but your story can start right now, if you have the courage, if you have the will. Remember, systems are powerful, but the human mind is more powerful. The question is, are you ready to use yours? Jerry Selfridge was, and that's why we're telling his story today. An ordinary man, an extraordinary mind, and a system that thought it was unbeatable. But math never lies, and Jerry knew math.